lots and lots of credit. Joining us now is a goal scorer from last night, and I'm guessing a horrible man as well, and one of the heroes. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show and say hello and good afternoon. Welcome to Drive Time to Charles Vernam. Charles, good afternoon to you.
Hi Andy, hi Benty, thank you for having me.
Charles, listen, I couldn't think of another guest I'd rather have on my show today, if I'm being honest, Charles.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hey, listen, all jokes aside, firstly, congratulations on one of the greatest upsets, not just in League Cup, but in English football. It really was outstanding. When did you realise that it was going to be your night? Was it one of those moments where until the final whistle was blown, you didn't really believe it was going to happen? Or did you think as the game ebbed and flowed that it was yours to lose?
I think from the start of the game, really, I think we started really well. We didn't go into the game with any fear at all, really. We believed that there was always a chance, and I think a lot of us went into the game with the attitude of why not us and why not tonight? And the reason that so many cameras were there were because they sensed the potential upset. So when we started quick, we got on the front foot, we had a couple of early half chances, and once you get a goal up, all of a sudden you start to think, do you know what, this could be us, and get to 2-0, and yeah, I thought we were excellent. Of course, we conceded 2 goals, which is frustrating, but then to bounce back and to go through in penalties in that style, it just probably topped off. Pretty magical night, really.
We'll talk about your goal, and it was a great goal, by the way. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I'm just curious, when you're on the field, and you're obviously aware of the problems that Manchester United have got on the field and off the field at the moment, did you feel that they were there for the taking? Could you sense maybe their body language wasn't as up for it as yours?
I think we probably enforced that on them a little bit at the start of the game. We had incredible backing from our fans. We started quick, and we knew we had to because they've got phenomenal players. They might be going through a difficult spell, but they played well against Fulham. They were probably unfortunate in the Arsenal game not to come away with a point, but they were performing well. So we knew that they had sort of exceptional talent, and if we weren't up to matching them physically, especially, then we would struggle. So we had to do that, and then at the end of the day, it's about us being brave and taking the game to them.
Charles, nice to speak to you, mate. Congratulations last night. I mean, that performance last night from all of you was absolutely fantastic. But does that show where Grimsby are this season? Because you've got off to a fantastic start, you're still unbeaten, and that confidence really shone from the very first whistle. Yeah,
I think so. And in those games, I think some people maybe think because we're a League Two team, we play in a certain way. But since the gaffer's come in, he's sort of instilled this confidence that we can go toe-to-toe and we can play what we see as proper football. And we try and build it as best we can. We try and sort of get into sort of overload situations. And we've got technically good footballers who can match it physically as well. So I don't think it had to be any different with it being Manchester United. There's no point us practicing for the past 18 months and under the gaffer and changing what we are. So for us, it was just about matching it and mixing it with them. And fortunately, we came out on the right side.
Let's talk about your goal, shall we? I mean, it was brilliantly taken. There are some people questioning the goalkeeper, but I think if we do that, we take something away from what was a great strike and a great moment, not just for Grimsby, but for yourself as well. How did you feel when it went in?
It was surreal, to be honest. Of course, you practice, but in those moments, in those games, you never know if you're going to get a chance. And for it to come that early, the ball across was brilliant. I half thought about taking it first time, but saw that had a bit more space, took it down, and then the rest just sort of takes care of itself. When you're in that moment, you're in that flow. I'm sure Benty knows as a goal scorer that it just sort of happens. And as soon as the ball hit the net, our families were all sat in that corner, so
wow.
Managed to go and celebrate mum, dad, granddad, fiance. It was just an amazing moment and one that will live long in the memory.
Giles, you know what was nice to see about that goal and why, when I was watching it, it made me smile? Because I remember, obviously, when I was at Derby with you being one of the only kids I can remember that was in the dome when I was in there doing your extras before training, after training, working with the goalkeepers. So when it went in, it almost felt like it was such good to see that you've obviously got that in that moment there. You've gone ice cold, you've scored, but to me it wasn't really surprised that you did score because I'd seen how many hours you used to spend in that dome practicing over and over. And to some people they might think, well, why is he doing that? But it almost felt like you scoring that goal last night made all those hours that I saw you in the dome worth it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Benty. It's something that, as a professional footballer, I always pride myself on sort of my work ethic. And if I'm not the best player, then why can't I be the the hardest working player. And like I say, nights like last night are a sort of culmination of that. And I've had a difficult time over the past couple of seasons with injuries, but that moment sort of makes you forget it all, and you do it all over again just to experience that night. But not just for me, but for the team, the fans, the staff, everyone associated with Grimsby Town, because that is such a massive night, and no one can ever take that away from us.
Charles, let me ask you about the Man United goalkeeper, Andre Onana. I mean, we've seen in the past he has a problem with crosses. I would imagine that was a discussion that you had with your manager before the game, that you would target his weakness, because a couple of times when you had corners, they were in-swingers and they were going to the back post and you were trying to get under the crossbar. Was that a discussion you had with your manager about the weakness of Manchester United's goalkeeper?
Brit born before 1980 with no life insurance may be eligible for this.
Goalkeeper.
We did our homework, of course, but we do for every team that we play. It was no different with it being Man United as it was for the weekend before against Accrington. So it's nothing new, but it's something that we definitely practice on, and we come up with a plan for every team. I know that before the game, we saw them warming up and they were practicing set pieces. Whether that's something they do regularly, I'm not sure, but it gives you a little bit of confidence going into the game that they were worried and they were concerned about that area. So we were able to take advantage of it, and sort of not going to speak about their individual players because they're all extremely talented individuals and worth millions of pounds. But if we can sort of find one weakness, then why would we not try and exploit it?
So that was a conversation you had before about the goalkeeper?
Not specifically about the goalkeeper. Of course, they've had a different goalkeeper playing the Premier League game, so it's hard to tell who's going to play and who's not. I think the main discussion about personnel before the game was just how much they clearly respected us with the team that they chose, and I think we probably took maybe some confidence from that, and sort of the rest is history, really.
What was it? Sorry, Ben, I was going to say, what was the score at half-time? Was it 1-0? You 1-0 up at half-time. Is that right?
2-0 up at half-time.
2-0 at half-time. What was the manager saying to you then? Because it's so difficult not to get ahead of yourself and say, oh, we're going to win. Was it just like carry on doing what you're doing? Did you go a bit more defensive? What was said at half-time?
No, I think from the start of the game, we sort of set ourselves little milestones, little targets. So can we get to 5 minutes? Can we get to 10 minutes? And then ultimately, can we get to half-time 0-0? Of course, we go beyond probably our wildest expectations and we come in 2-0. But it was never a case of, right, let's sit back. It was keep on doing what we're doing, because we're causing who are and have been in the past one of the biggest teams in the world and biggest teams in the Premier League a lot of problems. And it wasn't really up to us to affect that. It was up to them to find a way to change it. Of course, as the game goes on, they bring on exceptional talent, exceptional players. But for us, that's just another massive sort of tick in a box that we've made them do that, and we've forced them into changes. Sort of Fernandez coming on, it's a massive feather in our cap.
Charles, I've got to ask you, right? So I was watching the penalties, and I don't know if this was by accident or it was a plan by Grimsby, but I felt like most of the penalty takers were left-footers. Now, I might be reading too much into it, but it just felt like every penalty that you guys took, it felt like a left foot coming up. Now, was that by accident or was that planned?
I think it was by accident. We have got a lot of left-footers in the squad this year, and that balance does help. I think you probably know as well as I do that a lot of left-footers seem to have that nice-looking technique where they sort of stroke it in or they wrap around the ball, and it's hard to read. And everyone who stepped up to take a penalty, just incredible guts, and like what a moment for all of the lads, and like I say, for us as a team.
You sound quite quiet this morning. Are you suffering? Have you got a bit of a headache? What time did the celebrations go on till?
The celebrations were very sort of limited. We've got another game on Saturday, so we sort of left the stadium, and it's this massive sort of event, and you get home and that's it. You sort of relaxing and trying to get any type of sleep.
Did you?
No, not much.
It's so tough, right? With all that adrenaline running through, do footballers still take the caffeine tablets before a game, etc.?
Yeah, so we're on all the fuel to make sure that we're right, and we're all on the caffeine shots and bits like that. And you have that at 8 o'clock, then you've not got much chance of any sleep. But I had plenty of re-watches of the goal to keep busy.
Come on, honestly, how many times do you watch that goal?
It's been on repeat, and I'm not ashamed to say it. It's been on repeat I can't stop watching it.
And rightly so.
Just to know if it was, just to think, like, was that even me? Did that really happen? But
can I just ask, talking of goals, right? You scored a goal that was ruled offside because it flicked off Harry Maguire's foot. Some people, including me, think that should have stood. What was your view on that goal?
I'll be honest, I didn't see it at the time. I didn't see it in live. I'd come off by then, so I didn't see it.
Now you have.
Yeah, it looked tight.
Yeah.
It looked tight. I think without VAR, it's always hard to tell. You know, when you get the lines in it, it clears it up. But it would have been 3-0, and then at 3-0 you probably feel like you're pretty safe. But yeah, it's again just an amazing night.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, listen, well done. It pains me to say it, but there's no coming away from it. The better team by far won on the night, so it's thoroughly deserved, and I'm really pleased for you. Will you pass my congratulations on to the manager and the rest of the players, because you were outstanding. They were halfway through the commentary. I can't remember who it was that said if you just started on the telly and you didn't know who was a Premier League side and who was in the fourth tier, you think Grimsby were the Premier League side, and they were bang on. Whoever said that, I can't remember. But you played Man United off the park. There should have been only one winner last night, and it was Grimsby. So well done on that.
No, thank you. What I would say about the Man U players just before we go, they were all extremely respectful. I know they've been through a difficult moment on that night, but they all made sure that they stayed. Every player of ours got a shirt, and I think after a tough night for them like that, it shows a lot of sort of respect to us. So we're grateful to that as a group.
Charles, whose shirt did you get?
I got Casemiro's. Nice. So few Champions Leagues. One to remember the night by.
You didn't want Onana's?
You're horrible, you are.
No comment.
Hey, listen, a real pleasure. Congratulations again. Enjoy the rest of the day. Good luck. You've got Sheffield Wednesday next round. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Charles. Top man.
What a lovely fella he is.
Yeah, nice.
Speaks incredibly well.
I'm telling you, mate. Honestly, he was one of the only kids I remember that was in that dome when I was in there working on his finishing all the time.
And look, he's scoring the first goal against Man United. Look at you. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
Hey, done that a few times, mate.
You have done it more than a few times.
At Old Trafford as well.
Well, all right. Everyone's done that, Old Trafford. In about 12 minutes' time, we'll welcome Kevin Hatchard into the studio. We've got the Champions League draw coming live on Drive on Talksport.
Sorry, quickly. What pot you in? What pot you in so I can just put you